We're going to go through and disagree on what you need as a minimum to start reloading.
No, we're not.
Hey guys, Rusty from Projectile Warehouse here with Taylor. How are you, mate?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And we are going to share some thoughts about the minimum items you need to start reloading. I've grabbed out the contents here of the Lee Breech Lock Loading Kit, just as a bit of a guide so we can start, because that as a kit has all our bases sort of covered.
Definitely.
But we'll see where we go from there. So what do we start off with?
Oh, definitely going to have a press, like straight up. You're not going to get too much reloaded without a press.
I think you think about reloading, you want to start with a press. So this is a breech lock kit, but you need a press. What's your preference?
I personally have the bigger brother of that, the breech lock classic cast or whatever it's called. It's just slightly bigger. I think people overthink presses.
Need a press. Next, so we've got our press sorted out. If we've got those, let's say we're starting with having just shot some rounds, so we've got some spare brass left over from that, we need to clean that brass.
Yeah.
How do you clean your brass?
I take it to my mate's place.
So a tumbler works?
Yeah, tumbler works.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of options here. You guys can see the tumblers or the ultrasonics as well.
Then there's the different media you put in them, and that's all going to be personal preference. We're going to do a video on that, so you guys can check that out on the different options for ways to tumble.
The important thing is that you do clean your brass. However you do that, even by hand, that would be absolutely fine with a rag and something on there and just clean off the carbon. Trimming is one that's brought up a lot. Do you trim?
I haven't trimmed yet. It varies. I bought enough brass in the beginning, and my brass is kind of on the short side. So since it's only been through one, and some of it's been through maybe 2 firings, it's not at a point yet where I have to trim it.
Got it. So I have all sorts of trimmers. You can check out our trimming video. A couple of methods that would come in this kit is the case length gauge option, which is that one there, or the quick trim option. If you're trying to do this on a budget, you don't need trimming straight away. Maybe a few fires into it, you will, but not straight up. The other couple of tools that are very useful is something to clean your primer pockets. It is good for seating consistently. I know you haven't done that yet, but that's a time to learn. The other one that you believe in would be a case.
Yeah, chamfering
and deburring tool. Primer tool, some sort of way of seating those primers into the base of the cases. These are the hand, you don't like hand press ones. Some guys do that. You can check out our primer video, but we use the press options and those options and bench options, all sorts of stuff. Important thing is to have that squared away as well. I prefer the hand one. That's the way I am. As a bare minimum, you need a 2-die set. You need something to seat with and something to resize with. If you were just starting out, I would recommend full length sizing.
Definitely.
There's less issues you can have with it, and it's a good place to start. You can definitely next size, especially in due course. And dies is one where if you can spend the money, it's really worthwhile. But if you need to keep it on a budget, you can get out and start shooting. You can always upgrade them later. As for lube, you need some sort of lube so your brass is not getting stuck in your dies. Again, doesn't particularly matter which one you use. Some people have preferences over this, that. It's not a big expensive sort of option. Try something, use whatever comes with your kit. As long as you use it, that's the important part. If
don't try and lube, don't try and resize without lube.
It takes a very short process into a very long process. All right, let's talk powder. Because that is one of the most important things, is getting that powder into the case. So you put your powder in there and you just pull that back and do that. Multiple sort of different levels of quality of these sort of things. Some sort of way of measuring that. I prefer electronic scales myself.
I use a beam scale.
Yeah.
I still use a beam scale, even for precision reloading and PRS stuff. Still running a beam scale. It works for me. So.
Absolutely. And I've got a beam scale that I use to check the electronic one as well. And also a powder funnel to be able to fit that in. Now, you were holding some sort of little accessory that you like.
Yeah, so I got something that I thought I'd add in there that I feel like is a necessity. You might argue that it's not, but the powder trickler, because I am using a beam scale, allows me to have that element of precision where I throw the charge just under and then trickle up that last little bit of powder to get it to land exactly where I want. So for me, a powder trickler was an item that I loved having.
Absolutely, and that'll come down to what you're doing, but for a lot of guys, that the amount of powder that goes into your cases is like the first point that you can control the consistency of it. If you're hunting or perhaps pistol shooting, as long as it's close, you're fine. But if you're trying to do something really precise, that's one area that you can control very easily by using something like a trickler, which will just sort of, you can throw the bulk of your powder with something like this. This will just allow you to sort of tip it up a little bit, just so it's bang on every single time. One more thing that we haven't got here, but it's really critical.
This is my most used item in the reloading shed.
A reloading block?
No, not the reloading block.
Okay, two things. I changed my mind. There's two things. One, actually somewhere to put your cases so that they don't fall over and topple around with
You could just drill a hole in your bench. But,
you could try. Is actually a way to measure so you've got an overall length on that case, and there's all sorts of accessories and bits and pieces, but just bare minimum, something to be able to measure that overall size is really critical to do.
Yeah.
There's a multitude of other measuring tools, but for a bare minimum, that's pretty much it. So, guys, I think that is about what we would recommend. You're talking press, priming, cleaning brass, case prep tools, how you put your powder in, your dyes and lube, and a way to measure it all and make sure it's working well for you.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think you could make some solid rounds with that.
Let's go do that now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.